Hello and welcome to yet another video, and in this video it is something a little bit different, actually very different than usual, because in this video I'll be talking about these two lenses, in particularly which one to pick, especially when you're traveling, not which one to pick when you want to buy either one of them, because evidently I bought these two roughly the same time, about 1 to 2 months apart, because pre-order and stuff. But yeah, in this video I'll just be kind of discussing which one I picked for which scenario, in case it might actually help you out. And you know, it's a very particular topic. I know it's only going to be for a handful of you, but in case if this video helps, then you know, why not make it? So without further ado, let's get into the video. So first off, apologize for, uploading a video a day later or things like this. It's been very humid here in Japan. It's the heat is also back because it's supposed to end like in the very beginning of September, but evidently it just came back again the past 2 days, and it's just horrible. And I've been very lazy to make these videos because humidity. It's humid. Anyway, back into the video. So these two lenses are actually some of the confusing lenses to pick from in my camera gear system, because obviously there are other lenses that I have to take with me that I cannot say no to because of the way I shoot. One of them being this 28-70 f2, and the other one is 85 1.2. And for me, one of the factors to bring other lenses is, do I really need them? And how is the weight gonna affect the way I use all the other gear? Because sometimes when you just carry a lot of gear in general, it does affect your motivation or your ability to think on going to different perspective, taking pictures of a different object or a different subject, things like this. So it really does kind of affect my photography to a certain extent, especially when I'm going somewhere very far, or somewhere where I would only go there once in a long time, things like this. And hence why I got into the dilemma of which one to pick, and evidently I did bring both of these lenses. And despite this one being an L lens, I would still like to say that, just like in my thought videos on this lens, this is still a very sharp lens. Just because I have this does not mean that this is not sharp. There are downsides to this lens, of course, like it's not weather sealed, and if you know me, most of my lenses, most of my cameras are weather sealed. I prefer weather sealed equipment, but I also see the versatility in the 100 to 400 and also the size and weight of this lens, hence why I also got it. And here is pretty much my findings on, well, just based on my behavior on during this trip, and also in the past trips as well, whether I was going to places like Heidelberg or Paris, and obviously now I'm in Japan, Chiba, Japan. And yeah, I came to the conclusion where I feel like this is my choice, not because of a much superior glass. Well, it is a much superior glass compared to this, but in the same time, the way I shoot as a portrait photographer, as also people's photographer, as someone who just like versatility, I find that the f2.8 gives me more versatility than just longer focal range. Of course, there were a lot of times when traveling where this came into, practicality, because for example, when I was traveling in Bangkok and in Chiang Mai, this allowed me to really get to very close details from far away. Like, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get with the 70 to 200. And I really admire this about this lens, is that for such a light and very small form factor lens, it actually allowed me to get a lot of detailed shots of different patterns, of different details of certain architecture that, I wouldn't be able to see without this lens. So yeah, there is for that. But that also plays a role of between 5 to 10%, or actually 5 to 8% of the time. Whereas what would benefit my photography more, a little bit more than 10% of the time, would be this lens. And yes, I would miss out on some of those good shots, but at least this would be the lens that I would use over 10% of the time compared to this, which is under 10% of the time. And that means that I would actually come back with more memorable shots as well. And let's quickly touch upon the build quality as well, because when I'm traveling, I don't want to care a lot about my gear. Not to say that I don't clean them and I don't, you know, look after them. I do look after them, I do clean them at the end of the day, but when traveling during the day or if I'm out at night, they should perform. And with this lens, when it's raining, of course, I have to keep in mind that it's not a weather sealed lens. So it takes light drizzles, but it's not gonna, you know, take heavy downpours like this one would. And if I'm taking it to the beach, which I'm actually living right next to the beach, I'm hesitating taking this lens. I did take it out several times, but in most cases, I'm actually taking this one out because it's gonna deal better with, you know, preventing sand from going inside the lens and also going between the lens and the camera, because sand can be very fine grains that you can actually, you know, it will fit into certain gaps if not looked after properly, and I feel like this is gonna be more secure for that as well. And on the other hand, yeah, the contrast situation with this lens is very nice. It deals with contrast so good compared to this lens that, you know, despite being a lens that is kind of like on the shorter end of the focal range compared to this lens, but if I'm shooting a lot against high contrast situations, which is very handy here during summer in Japan, then this is gonna get more detail out of that shot for me, because of, you know, better contrast control. Yeah. By the way, this lens is also the reason why I sold my EF version of the 70-200 f2.8, because the contrast on this lens is much better. And of course, coupled with the fact that this lens, when you collapse it down, is actually a much shorter version of the EF version, because the EF version is roughly this height. It's internal zoom. I love that more, but when packing, I just like the shorter form factor because it allows me to actually put other lenses inside as well. So yeah, overall, yes, there are situations I would take this, like specific situations when I'm just traveling on like a very, very short trip to just places where I can actually visit very often. Like for example, if I'm just gonna shoot some surfers at the beach here, I would definitely bring this lens out. Or if I'm on a super long-term stay in Bangkok, for example, then, or in Chiang Mai, then I can just take out this lens rather than the 70-200 and just photograph some details, walk around, because I don't mind missing certain shots and I will always be able to go back to that place on roughly similar lighting situations and capture the details, or, you know, that particular moment that I want to catch at a certain time. So that would definitely be for this lens. But going for places where I need more versatility, going to places where I don't know, it's more memorable for me to be there, whether it's on a special occasion or once in a lifetime or once in a long while, visits at a certain location, things like that, or what have you, then this is going to be a much better option for me to go for. And so far here in Japan, I've been taking this lens over this lens 97 or 98% of the time. So it really kind of proved me that, you know, at the end of the day, I am still gonna come back to the versatility of the aperture, of the weather sealed, of the build quality on this lens compared to just a longer focal range. Again, nothing to do with sharpness, although this lens is much sharper, and I'm not talking about pixel peeping. This lens is already very sharp and detailed enough, but without zooming in, you will still see a huge clarity, a huge sharpness difference, that this is much sharper than this lens. Whether it's on the R6 or the R5 or on the older R camera, I think I should have it here. Yeah, you will see a huge difference for sure. At least I see a huge difference. So yeah, there is that. It's just so many other benefits to this lens, and that's why I took this lens. Well, I picked this lens in most situations. I just realized I probably should start replacing the stickers on here. Not only that they are starting to be a bit more scratchy after a few years of, you know, hard usage on them, but also the humid here in Japan proved to also be quite harsh on these stickers as well. Protective stickers, they're not just normal stickers, but they're actually meant to protect your gear from scratches, not from drops. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope it helps you a little bit, if not a lot, then a little. Yeah, not really much else to share. If you need a free photography guidebook, it's absolutely for free on my website. Just click the link down in the description section below. Also, as some of my free photography videos, well, yeah, photography tutorial videos, as well as some paid ones, it's also on my website, and it's, yeah, the link is down in the description section below as well. Otherwise, if you have anything to share, any suggestions, any recommendation, any stories to share, or if you want to, you know, contribute to your own opinion, like what would you prefer, things like this, please feel free to just share down in the comment section below as well. Otherwise, I thank you all very much for watching. Stay safe, have fun shooting. Till next time, bye for now.